Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rambling Live with Orcus. I'm your host, Orcus. How's it going? Is everybody having a nice evening? Libby, isn't it like 4 a.m, 3 a.m. in the UK right now? Like, don't people have bedtimes? That's right. You too, Maisie. Well, I will do my best to make it worth it for you. So, okay, my voice might, my voice is going to go away for a second. Uno momento. Did I just see Roxanne? Oh my goodness. There's a sight for sore eyes. It's the matriarch of audio erotica herself. So, fun fact, Roxanne and I became friends because I got a little too big for my britches on a Twitter thread once, and she called me out for it. And I had to have a nice private DM conversation with her about what I was saying and what I actually intended, and we've been friends ever since. No, of course I didn't. Oh God, I'm in trouble now. Hello, Carrie, Jasmine, Chris, Lolita, Libby. B is here, Macy, Amanda Joyous, of course, Lenore, Katie. I see Jessica's in there somewhere too. Luana, hello. Welcome to the live. So we're I'm about to I don't know. This is the preamble before the ramble. The pre-ramble, so to speak. So I'm going to start the recording, and the recording is I don't know, it's going to be a ramble. But I'm going to, well, I don't know. I don't even know if I need to record it, do I? It's all recording on the video anyway. So I guess that's what I'll do. I have questions to answer. And of course, if any of you have questions you want to put into the chat, feel free. We're just going to hang out. It's going to be a nice little Friday night with everybody. I need to record the recording for my records. That's sort of like tax season when the accountants account for all the accounting in the accounts. All right. So if I put my phone too close to the microphone, it makes clicking sounds sometimes. So I have to be careful with that. I think for Chris, it's like 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. So it's something around there. I'm learning a lot about time zones being in this line of work. At least, I'm learning a lot about time zones relative to me. I knew it. It's yeah, it's in the afternoon tomorrow. Yeah. The sun never sets, but it always rises. The sun never sets on the Orcosphere, but it always rises. The only time zone that I really would probably be challenged by the most would be anybody in like Southeast Asia or Japan. Um, Back once upon a time, I did some traveling while I was working. What is that? Remote work back before it was cool. I was working in Southeast Asia and taking meetings at 3 in the morning. That was the worst idea ever. Yeah, I was in Southeast Asia and Japan for like a month, and I ended up I ended up kind of going insane from all the sleep deprivation because I was going on tour. I was touring places and eating a bunch of food during the day, and then staying up all night to be on meetings. And so I'd be falling asleep during calls. Okay. Yeah, you all just let me know if anything goes wrong. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, be sure to really rub it in, Carrie. Make sure that Smudgy is very aware of how much she is missing right now. Okay. Uh, let's see. First question from Lenore. The easy question is, what makes you blush? What makes Orcus blush? Hmm. Um, that question makes me blush. I'll just we'll just be honest. Um, you know, it's I'm much more bashful in real life. I hope all of you know. I am I'm a hard dommy dude in the online sphere, but if you met me in person, I'm a pussycat. Um, so, you know, what makes me clutch my pearls? I don't really know that there's much that makes me clutch my pearls. Now that I've done the backdoor ramble, I really am not scared by anything. We'll just leave it there. Um, can we get a tour of my metaphysical bookshelves? I wouldn't say that I have a whole bookshelf of metaphysics. I do have a shelf full of crystals at this point. Um, Many of which have been gifted by you. You can kind of see it a little bit in the background there, right next to Pete. And I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, I figure I had to I had to go the extra mile. Right. Yeah. Okay. So, what? Smudgy. You're not supposed to be up. We're trying to make you jealous. It's like 3 in the morning. Go back to bed. Now Carrie doesn't get her bragging rights. You gotta go back to sleep. Taking out my watch, it's too distracting. Actually, hold on. I shouldn't even have this thing on. What am I? What am I, an amateur at this? Okay. What's currently on my Kindle? Um, Honestly, I'm slowly making my way through a hardback paper book version of All the Way to the River, Elizabeth Gilbert. Um, I also recently saw the Andrea Gibson documentary, something about the good place. Which See Me in the Good Light. That's what it's called. So between See Me in the Good Light and All the Way to the River, um, you will have completely grounded and not be emotional at all experiences. Um, I don't know. It kind of feels like both of these books, but the documentary and the book are both tapping into a kind of cultural nostalgia. I'm still only like a few chapters into All the Way to the River, so I'm not. I'm a slow reader, unfortunately, these days. But so far it's great. I actually went to go see Elizabeth Gilbert at a live event. I have a signed copy of her book, um, and that was lovely. Okay, spicy question. Would you rather have foreplay with ice cubes or candle wax? Oh, I think give me the candle wax, really. I feel like the candle wax is more interesting. That you know, the ice cubes just melt and then get you all wet. Well, I guess we're cleaning the sheets anyway. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe either one. B with a question, how do you see ADHD and sensory processing showing up in sex? And what advice might you give to neurodivergent folks navigating that? Um, how do you see ADHD and sensory processing showing up in sex? Uh, well, the hyperfocus is certainly a thing. And of course, the wheel of consent still applies, right? For those of you who aren't familiar, the wheel of consent is all about what a person's willing to give, what a person's willing to receive, and what a person desires from the other person, and what a person doesn't desire from another person. Wait, how does this work? It's what I'm willing to give, what I'm willing to receive, and what I want to receive and what I want to give. Um, and sort of the, how those dynamics interplay with people who are in a thing. So the hyper focus piece, to me, the ADHD and sensory processing is not. It's really just establishing where you meet in what interests you. You know, um, because ADHD can turn into hyper focus, and if you're a person who's like, hey, I would love for you to hyper focus on this part of me, yeah, just have at it. Like that's like an ADHD person's dream right there. Um, Hyper focus is really an examination of all the little ways, all the little nuances of how the sensation of something happens. I would say it's hyper focus that enabled me to create the audios that I create. Um, because I certainly have become hyper focused on sexually related things throughout my life, and being able to convey that in audio form has been a lot of fun. So, and sensitivity is really like a lot of people think that they watch porn or something and they see people going rough and hard. And for people who are hypersensitive, that's not necessary. You can achieve the same amount of mind blowing, like ecstasy from even just the lightest touch. Um, and it's really just all about what's going on in the connection. Are people really engaged? How well are people staying in their own body? How much do people need to sort of stay present? Um, yeah. I think a good thing to remember is that a lot of times the way ADHD works is that we switch channels in ADHD as a function of avoiding discomfort. So if we're switching channels in sex, then it's something to examine. If there's it's something to monitor around how, if we're feeling something uncomfortable, you know, maybe there's a part of us that needs us to be present to that and change what's happening. Yeah. Yeah. My spreader bars, the spreader bard. Thank you very much. Macy was the one with the, wait, no, so who was that? Macy said spreader bard. Was it Smudgy with the spreader bars? Uh, I wouldn't know, Carrie, but I'm a student of the perimenopause menopause experience. Fun fact: throughout what I learned is so I when I was born, my mom was 38, and so throughout my early childhood, my mom was in perimenopause. Um, so I had that experience, and then in my early 20s, mid 20s, I started dating a woman who was 18 years older than me. And so again, had the perimenopause experience in my 20s. Uh, so yeah, it's sort of been an ongoing theme, being amidst this world. Well, I feel like now it's one of my purposes in life to bring pleasure and desire um to women across the spectrum. And menopause, perimenopause are one of the areas in which I feel deeply humbled and a student of around that. I'm hoping to create more content around that, actually. Smudgy, it's 3 in the morning. uh, All right. Bonus question. Did you practice your Spanish for the halftime show? B. Uh, no. No bueno. Thank you. One day AI is going to get good enough and I will just, it will just, it will download Spanish and then you'll get to, or I'll just, have it translate for me in my voice. We'll just, whichever one it is. Um, Boner question. That's right, Lolita. It's the boner question. Um, Libby says 3 questions, and you also are way up past your bedtime. Um, what is it about The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening that makes that your favorite Zelda game? I think the soundtrack. It's my favorite soundtrack of all the Link games. Because they're a little bit more creative, like the Telltale Heights song and the Fish Mambo song. Um, and they're a little bit more creative with like the shops and the puzzles, and it feels to me like it's a little bit like a bit tongue in cheek, like it's definitely a Zelda game, but they're not taking themselves too seriously. And that's one of the reasons I really loved that game. Um, Number 2, I've mentioned about me being a horror enthusiast, and you have talked about the Alien franchise and Prometheus being the last movie you watched because it was so scary. I've spoken to many people about the alien extraction scene from it and how people reacted and what they felt in their bodies when seeing that scene. So that's my question. What was your reaction? Did you feel exactly in your body when watching? Now I have to go back and recollect the feeling in my body of a woman performing a self C-section, removing an alien from her body. Hope I didn't spoil it for you. Um, well, I was uncomfortable. I'll just say that. Yeah. So, this is a movie called Prometheus, which is when it was first marketed, like they were kind of keeping the whole connection to the Alien universe under wraps. Alien being the horror movies from the 80s where the face hugger comes in and then the alien bursts out of the chest, like that whole thing. So Prometheus was another movie in that universe, but they didn't advertise it as such. So you go in and it's all about Fassbender, like it's all about all the robot stuff and like landing on this alien planet. And then by like halfway through the movie, you realize like all this horrific shit is happening and it's not the movie you thought it was going to be. And then all of a sudden the alien spores start happening and then I don't like movies where they just like invade your body and turn you into an alien. I don't like movies like that. That's just me. Yeah, I don't know. Who out of these 2 celebrities would you want to spend the entire day with and talking about anything and everything? Sir Ian McKellen or Jeremy Irons? Oh, I just watched the Stephen Colbert interview with Ian McKellen with Sir Ian, where he ends it with the Thomas More Shakespeare monologue. I cried, you guys. If you haven't seen that, go to YouTube, look up Ian McKellen, Stephen Colbert, watch the extended interview. It is the most magical thing you've ever seen in your life. Um, I feel like it's moments like that that give us hope for because shit's just gonna keep getting more real from here, folks. Um, and yeah, I would die to spend a day with Ian McKellen, with Sir Ian. I mean, Jeremy Irons, I would love to ask him about, doing the Borgias and like, you know, um, doing the Lion King even, but like Ian McKellen just has way more consequence in my life. And I knew how amazing Sir Ian McKellen was before The Lord of the Rings came out and before X-Men. When I was a kid, my dad was really into a little movie called The Scarlet Pimpernel, um, which is a movie it's like based on the French Revolution. And Ian McKellen played the villain in that movie as a younger man. And his villainy was just, mwah. Oh my God, it was amazing. So yeah, anyway, how does this live even work? This is touch of music mode. What is music mode? Let's see what this is. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Wow. I don't have the ability to do this. Okay. Well, I have this option in here. Apparently, Substack has updated their app. I have more audio options. Yes, there is a squirrel. I seem to be partial to Shakespeare. I love me some Shakespeare. I do love me some Shakespeare. I also love the movie Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. That was a great film. Um, Honestly, I loved Shakespeare in Love. I love a lot of stuff around Shakespeare. Much Ado About Nothing. I've talked about that movie quite a bit. Um, I think Keanu Reeves doing really bad Shakespeare is like, I mean, it's one of the best things ever. It's one of the most adorable things to watch Keanu Reeves acting poorly in a Shakespearean movie. God bless that guy. He can act poorly in any Shakespearean movie. Like, I don't care. So, yeah. Okay. Uh, Chris, because we're on Substack today, let's give you a fun topic: face sitting. Ooh, positions, what to do with your hands, when to tap out. Want to hear your thoughts on face sitting. Interesting. Well, from Shakespeare to face sitting, folks, this is what we do on this live. Um, so there's this thing about face sitting where you sort of put your arms over like it's a seat belt, and you get kind of you get like positioned exactly right. Ideally the person doing the sitting has like something to hang on to, like a headboard. um but yeah, I mean, that, like, for me there is no tapping out. I tap out when the legs give out. So that's what I have to say about it. Scary Mary from Madrid. Hello. Um, you know what? Just put your weight on me. That's fine. I'm not picky. I'm 6'6". I can take it. But really, like, it's the build up to the face sitting that I think is the most important because once you get there, then yeah, then there's no holding back in that at that time. At once that happens, um all right. Let me see. Hey, I'm on my computer. I actually can add some hearts to these questions here. Smudgy, as we are here, I want to go deeper than 10-inch TikTok. That's right. What dark part of your desire do you have to keep in check? Oh, I love this. We are on Substack, right? So we can go, we can just go there. Let's see how that's how we can how deep we can go. Let's see how deep you can take. Hmm? Uh, let's see. Is the buildup to face sitting different from the usual buildup? Um, well, yes, of course. But it also kind of depends on what type of face sitting we're talking about. Like, are we doing the full like femdom experience, or are we doing the um are are we doing the mdom uh sort of, put the seatbelt on and hold on for dear life experience? All right. What dark part of your desire do you have to keep in check? Number 1. That's the first question. What dark part of my desire? Oh man. Um I dark part of my desire, I mean, as all of you well know, I have a a good obsession with the erotic hypnosis space. I've read books about brainwashing. Read books about like consensual brainwashing, like not like there's sort of a difference between stuff that's like um actually evil, and there's stuff that's just like, ooh, that's edgy. And that's the stuff that I like to play in. So there's the hypnosis piece where it's like programming different triggers and responses, and then making the person orgasm like in the middle of the grocery store. That's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah. So all of you listening to uh public audios. Yeah. That's you know you're just you're just putty in my hands. So yeah, I mean, dark part of my desires, like, I think for me, what I've sought throughout my intimacy life has been through um, this this dominant submissive dynamic. So it's like, what is the most intimate and most powerful essence of that connection? And at first, I thought it was like, okay, it's got to be role play. And then it was like, oh, maybe it's got to be rope and like other dynamics. But really, like the most important sexual organ is the mind, is the brain, right? So why don't we just go straight for that? And of course, you have to be really careful with who you play this with. Um, all of the scene negotiation stuff applies to doing stuff like this. So, if you're going to embark on your erotic hypnosis journey, I highly recommend that read all the safety precautions before embarking on it. Does pain get me going? Um, in fact, it does. Both received and give and bestowed. Um, I've had a lot of really powerful, personal, like, awakenings through receiving pain. Although I look at pain as a vehicle, not as sort of the end goal. It's like just enough pain to get over that edge into, the subspace. That's great. What was that face before? I don't know what you're talking about, Libby. All right. Number 2, do you ever scare yourself with how intensely you can desire something or someone? Um, do I ever scare myself? Oh, I did a lot. In the beginning of Orcus, probably like the first 25 or 30 audios that I released, I would be recording and then just thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm even doing this. I was so self-conscious and I was like, these audios are me getting to finally say what I want to say. Um and and just explore the range of where my fantasy brain could go. And the because you asked was like that was like a dam burst type of thing. That audio was just me saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go for the wall, and I'm gonna see how far I can take this." And that's what I did. So the secret about hypnosis is not that it's just like any other scene. It's not something that's done to you. It's something that you participate in. Hypnosis doesn't work without the consent and participation of the hypnosis subject. So people who say that they can't be hypnotized, like it's really more about, can you allow yourself to be fully within the power of another person? And and it's an exceptionally intimate and exceptionally potent thing to decide to do. All right. 3, what sexual act would you most want to experience if you woke up tomorrow as a woman? Ooh, if I woke up tomorrow as a woman. Hmm. Um, I think I'd want to experience proper orgasm denial. I feel like that just can't like, that just kind of popped into my head. I think that would be great. Because, orgasming as a woman is very different than as a man. Like, you can go on and on and on as a woman, right? So, um, although, oh man, I can't really, I was never really able to talk about this much on TikTok, but I actually have a running theory now, and I think I've talked about this in the pleasure course that both men and women can experience sort of what we could say as feminine orgasms and masculine orgasms. So it's like the difference between, for men, it's the difference between a um, penile orgasm versus a prostate orgasm. And for women, it's the difference between like a cervical orgasm versus a clitoral orgasm. Um, where it's like one is just like super explosive and then you're exhausted afterwards and have to take a break, versus the other where it's like it's more of this like wave and build and it just crashes and waves and crashes and like it just keeps going and as long as you want, and anybody can learn to do either one. So yeah, anyway, that's what I, but little tangent there. Let's see. Macy says hypnosis makes people think of stage magician type things. Is there another name for it? I wonder. Not really. People have a lot of misconceptions about what hypnosis is. And in fact, hypnosis is happening around us all the time. Hypnosis is really just you consenting to allowing yourself to be moved or swayed or like you're like it's sort of like if you're listening to somebody and you decide, "Oh, I agree. Okay, I will go with that opinion." Um, so it's happening all the time. You watch TV and you get hypnotized. Um, so, when you get really start learning about energetic dynamics of your like attention, what are you consenting to versus not? What are you listening to and saying, "Yeah, I agree with that," versus what you're not agreeing to? Um, yeah, it becomes very clear what you're doing versus not. So, like, I think a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I can't be hypnotized." Well, if you're watching a lot of TV, then you probably can. Yeah, exactly like an energetic exchange. Okay. Jasmine has some interesting questions to fit the vibe. Number one, out of all the game shows there are, which one would you love to be a contestant on? I always wanted to be on The Price is Right when I was a kid. I always thought that would be fun. I liked watching The Price is Right when I was sick during the day from school. Um, I also would have done Jeopardy. I always liked Jeopardy. Um, and then God, these days, you know what? I'll just be honest. I've thought about seeing if I could audition for the Beast Games. I thought that would be fun. Okay. I know the Beast Games is like a sign of the end of an era of humanity, I think. It's like the Beast Games are the Roman Colosseum of our current civilization. It's like it's impossible to not watch or not it's impossible to look away, but it's just kind of horrifying what how, how they like just play with people's lives and just absurd amounts of money. Oh, Lolita. Hand worship is I mean I think worshiping people's body parts is is important, especially when when you find somebody that you're really into. No, I haven't seen Naked Attraction. Um, I mean, Beast Games to me is sort of it's Schadenfreude. What is that called? Yeah. Um, yeah. It is car crash TV. Although for some reason Beast Games appeals to me more than like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Like I don't know where they find those people, but that yeah, I don't know. Oh no, I never saw Naked Attraction. That's wild. No, I never. Yeah. Am I looking forward to watching this year's Olympics? Yeah, I love watching the Olympics. Hi, call me Q. I didn't see you sneak in. Okay. Two. What is your current addiction? My current addiction. My current addiction is one that I've had for a long time. Um, but it's a new style of addiction. Um, there's an ice cream shop in Seattle that is now expanded south along the West Coast, I believe. I think it's now in Oregon and maybe California. I can't remember. There's an ice cream shop called Frankie and Joe's that is a vegan ice cream shop. And they have now begun making ice cream sandwiches. And these are the best ice cream sandwiches I've ever had. So that's my new addiction. I just had one today. I'm very happy with that. Um, so there you go. That's what I got. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I highly encourage all of you to come to Seattle. Maybe we'll just do a little Orcus Con here in Seattle at Frankie and Joe's. We won't tell them that we're coming, and we'll just, I'll just lead a little. I'll just lead a little session for everybody on in the middle of a Frankie and Joe's, and and the ice cream people will just be like, "Yeah, there we go." Um, okay. Number 3. And the theme of spicy, out of all the Quinn categories, which ones would you love to try or do in real life? Um, I mean, most of what I have produced, outside of like the super fantasy style stuff, um, I've done in some capacity. Um, but I don't know. I think for me, like the things that really interest me are like the things that are not quite reachable. It's like, you know, the latest Heretic episode that I did where he's like killing the guards as he's coming into her room. And so he's covered in blood and like and licking his lips and like and then just completely demeaning her for how filthy her like room is, and like that kind of dialogue, I would never be able to pull that off in real life. Like that doesn't happen in real life. So, that's why we do it over audio, right? Okay. Uh Macy. Maisie. When you say Eros energy has to go somewhere, what happens if you don't have a creative or other outlet for it? Um when I say Eros energy has to go somewhere, sexual energy, we're talking about sexual energy. Um it's just you just notice where it goes. When you're not um when it's like if you're using it in a sexual capacity, then that's where it goes. And that's fine. Um Using it to create to like power your creative expression. That's a way that it goes. Um for a lot of people who suppress their sexuality or suppress their creativity, I don't know. I mean, I imagine it goes into other things that they devote their lives to. I mean, sexual energy is life force. So, you know, you do meet people who just seem to have very little life force. And I really feel for those people. Um, but I often think that the reason people have less life force is because they're not doing something that really lights them up. When you guys spam the like button, my my live starts getting choppy. That's so funny. I don't think this live tracks the likes the way TikTok does, unfortunately. They should have better live management. Okay. Number 2, is your red panda onesie custom made or off the peg? I wouldn't have thought suitably long onesies were that easy to find. They're not. This is an Amazon. This is from Amazon. This is a cheapo from Amazon. And I had to find their largest size. This is the very largest size, and it still doesn't exactly fit. But it's good enough. Lenore, bonus question. When are we going to get a look at it? Well, you just did. Thank you. The red panda onesie. All right. I suppose for those of you who didn't join earlier, you're welcome. I this is the red panda, and I do have a tail. Um, there it is. Yes, I do have one of those too, Scary Mary. The red pajamas with the back hatch. Yes, I have one of those too. Okay. Um, and another add-on question from Lenore. We're just going for it. What books would you recommend for those wanting to learn about the Dom sub lifestyle? What books have you read on the topic? It has been a while, although there are two books that I've heard that I know are really great: the topping book and the bottoming book. I can't remember who they are. Um, There's also, gosh, I don't know. What books have I? What other books do I have on my library about this? Gotta go to my Kindle. Dom's Guide to Submissive Training. I liked that. Dom's Guide to Submissive Training 2. Uh, and then there's another book called Kinky NLP, which I enjoy. There's also the brainwashing book. I can't remember who the author of that one is. No, I don't know about the middling book. Smudgy. It's probably just an average book. How do I feel about brats? I'm more of the pleasure dom type. You know, um idea of dealing with brats is not direct. I'm more of a subversive kind of brat tamer. Like my way of dealing with brats is to make a brat forget that they're bratting. Um, so that's my personal way. Of course, there are other ways that I handle that in many of my audios. Libby, I too have a digital question. What is the best place to start when you are wanting to experiment more with sex and kink? Aha. The best place to start. Um, I think a great place to start is to look for a reputable um, kink or BDSM club, some like a place that is, that has a public presence, and then see if they have something sort of like what's called a taster night. There was a BDSM club that I went to years ago that had a taster night on it was like first Friday of every month. And this taster night, they would invite professionals from the community to come and show off their techniques to newcomers. So there was somebody who was doing electricity. There was somebody who was doing, rigging. There was another impact person. There was another person demonstrating, like sadomasochism with their partner. Um, and people who were brand new to stuff could like go up to these people and just ask, questions and get experience and learn about it. So really like the best place to go is find a reputable, like publicly known BDSM club because if they are publicly known, if people know about them, they operate with an integrity. Because they have to. Because people will shut them down real quick if any shenanigans are going on. Some tips to vetting a dom for a sub. Uh Well, some tips I would say are how well so I think the most important thing that I would say is um maintain your power over your sexuality to start with. Meaning that you don't want to let yourself get swept up in the dynamic right off the bat. Because you want to get to know a person a little bit before you start playing in different dynamics. So, um, if make sure that they're willing to talk openly and vulnerably about their experiences. A really important question I have encouraged people to ask is, tell me about your past partners. Tell me about what you experienced. What did you learn? What did you like do you know any of them? Still, you know? So, yeah, vetting a dom is sort of like, find their vulnerability. I think like an easy red flag is if a dom's not willing to be vulnerable, then it's not worth it. Um, and I think that also is a really good test for the sub as well, because I think a sub being able to be with their dom when their dom is going through a hard time, because dom drop is real, you guys. Like, I've been in situations where I have played a role and done the whole thing, and then and then I was kind of left to deal with my feelings on my own, because I had to be there to take care of the sub. So it's like being able to find that like understanding of the vulnerability between both people. Yeah. Um yeah, great question. I like that. What is the best play? Yeah, we got that one. Jessica, number one, can we please see the red panda onesie? Eh, there it is. Two, what's one trick you use to get out of your head? A trick I use to get out of my head. Um, I breathe. I feel my feet. I direct my attention to my body. Um, and there's that whole old technique that you can do. You look for five things you can see. Um, four things that you can touch. Uh, I can't remember exactly how it goes. It's like five things you can see, four things you can touch, three things that you can smell, two things you can taste, or no, three things you can hear, two things you can taste, and or two things you can smell and one thing you can taste. I think that's how it is. It's sort of like you scroll through the senses to get to the experience, and that's then by doing that you can get back into your body. And yes, a good wank is always really great for getting back into your body. That's for sure. Number three, a spicy question. What is one thing that is an instant turn on? An instant turn on for me? Ooh. Probably a really good moan. There are certain voices. I mean, you like, part of the reason that I'm in this business is because I also am auditorially inclined. So for me, a good feminine moan, that's like gets me every time. So, yeah, and it's like if I'm doing something that makes somebody moan, then that just is like that yeah. Need I say more? Do I have a go-to creator for that? I don't. I have not been listening to many creators lately. Um I should listen to more creators. Um I've been mainly focused on the creation aspect these days. I've been listening to a lot of male creators because I just want to see what other guys are doing. Um but I've not listened to a feminine creator just for my own pleasure in a long time. I love the, also, I mean, it's a little source of pleasure for me whenever people comment on my stuff that they have a new kink unlocked. Like, that's always like, "Ah, yes." Like, I've converted another one. Do audios do it for me, or do I need the visual? No, it's mainly audios. Audios do me just fine. I love reading erotica as well. Like, porn, for the most part, porn doesn't it's the visual piece is not that important for me anymore. Um, since I started doing Orcus, like, porn just has not been as prominent a thing in my life. Oh, Lolita, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Any other questions any of you have? You've got me for a little while longer. I'm gonna hop off here probably in the next little bit, but you know, it's late on Friday night. What are you wearing? um, my red light live came from my love of audio sexy stuff. Yes, definitely. I mean, I kind of felt like early on with doing Orcus, I was in my studio doing all of this stuff. And of course, I'd post it, and then a few days later, all the comments would roll in and I'd get to see how people were experiencing it. But the Red Light Live is sort of like it's my experience, my ability to do it live and get the live feedback. That's been, mwah, that's been really great for me. So, if any of you have not experienced Red Light Live, I highly recommend coming and doing one with us, or doing one and then coming. I'm doing my next one this Sunday at noon Pacific time. So, whatever that is in your time zone. Uh, Scary Mary, you should definitely download. For gallivanting, I don't know. I mean, probably the motivation domination one. That's what I think. Because you need to be motivated to gallivant. With boundaries loosened, how about what hard limits do I have? Well, it depends on what kind of boundaries we're talking about, but hard limits, I don't know. Like, I need to be wined and dined. We'll just say that. And the red, yellow, green applies. I like to be checked in with quite a bit. Um, and I don't know, listen to the sounds I'm making. If it sounds like pain, then back off. How do you find the red light? Yes, via Substack. You can find recordings of past red light lives on the Substack. You know, I asked Quinn if they would like to have a recording of a red light live on their site, and they turned me down. Yeah, I would really love to have a Quinn sponsored Red Light Live once at some point. I think that they could I don't know. I feel like they should experience this. I need enough groundswell of Quinn audience to go, "You know what? We want an Orcus live event." Um, because obviously, they're looking for new ways to sort of expand out with their audio experiential lineup, and I think I could offer them something. I'm still doing 2 audios a month. Alright, I'm gonna give you 3 more minutes, and then I'm gonna hop off here because I have to have my red panda time tonight. Any final questions before we go? They are cunts. You're right, Smudgy. In the most adorably affectionate way. What is red panda time code for? Well, it's probably not what you think it is. What's my safe word? Uh, I don't know. Pomegranate. Um, B, how's it called now? I don't know. I have a thing of feet. Scary Mary, I do have a foot appreciation audio. I don't know if but it's not really my feet. It's more like me appreciating the listener's feet. Um, yeah, just look for I don't know, there's something called foot something. Just do a Substack search for in my library. Swixy. Hello, darling. I love it when you get sweaty in the middle of the night. We call that Swixy. Well, it's really been nice hanging out with all of you. I'm very pleased with our little Friday night ramble togethers. Um, I dare say we're getting up to TikTok numbers on this Substack live here. So maybe we'll have to do this a little more often. Yes, you can go back to sleep now, Smudgy. And yeah, we're gonna maybe I'll even mention my I started talking about Pornhub once on TikTok, and that's the word that got me banned on TikTok for like 5 days. But I can say that here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Sending all of you lots of love, and I very much enjoy this. I'll be posting the replay of this probably either tonight or tomorrow. All right. Bye, everybody.